Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be my most anticipated books of 2024. So stay tuned. So in this video we are going to be talking about all of my most anticipated books for 2024. What I'm going to do is list all of the books when they come out, as they come out. If the book's part of a series, depending on what number, I'll give the synopsis for it that's currently listed on Goodreads. But if it's a book 2, 3, 4, what have you in a series, I will not be giving a synopsis because I do not want to spoil any of you guys for these books. So let's get into it. So the book that comes out on January 30th, as I'm filming this, it's way past that month, but I still want to mention this book anyways, and that is Heartsong by TJ Klune. So this story actually came out originally in 2019, is when this book originally. And at that point in time, TJ Klune wasn't a known author as he is today, and so when it was originally written, it was self-published, and since TJ Klune is now a published author, most of his books are now getting traditionally published versions. This is traditionally published by Tor. Before this book came out, I had read both Wolfsong and Ravensong, which are books 1 and 2, and this is book 3, and when this came out, I hadn't read this yet. Since then, I have read this book, and yeah, you will see another book in the series on this list. The last one also is getting traditionally published this year. So yeah, this book came out on January 30th. And I read this book at the beginning of February and gave it 5 stars. The next book that came out on February 6th is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This book is Ali Hazelwood's first paranormal romance. And I do like paranormal romance. In fact, it's one of my favorite types of romance tropes to read is paranormal romance. This isn't technically a series yet, so I'm going to be reading you guys the description. A vampire bride and an alpha werewolf form a dangerous alliance in this enthralling new paranormal romance. Misery Lark, daughter of a powerful vampire councilman, is an outcast. Her days of living anonymously among the humans are over. She's been called upon to uphold an alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Morlan, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice or feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every moment that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was. Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers. Every other Ali Hazelwood book that I've read so far, which is The Love Hypothesis and Love in the Brain, I've given 5 stars. So this is an anticipated release for me. And I have not read this book yet. I'm looking forward to reading it when I eventually get to it. The next book that I have comes out on March 12th, which now we get into the books that are not out yet that I do not own. And the book that comes out on March 12th is Empire the Band by Jay Kristoff. I read Empire the Vampire back in 2022, and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving that book 4 stars, and I liked it enough to continue. So I have, of course, pre-ordered this book. It should get here sometime within the next week or so, since next week is the 12th, and I'm looking forward to reading this book when I eventually get to it. Jay Kristoff is a hit-or-miss author for me. I like the Illuminae Files that he co-wrote with Amy Kaufman, as well as Aurora Rising. Nevernight was kind of a miss for me, and I don't know whether or not I will be continuing with that series, but I liked Empire the Vampire when I read it enough to continue, so I will be reading Empire the Damned. The next book comes out on April 2nd, and that is Playa Sada's Cafe of Shadows by Sebastian Castell. This is another series that Seb is writing that's set in the Greatcoats world. And so far, his Greatcoats world has been my absolute favorite. I still actually have yet to read the last book, Tyrant's Throne. I've been putting it off. I was supposed to read it last year. Let's hope 2024 is the year. I will finish it. I only have one book left. So I will finish this book before I read this one. So maybe it'll be a March finish. Who knows? So anyways, since this book's a new series, I will be reading you guys a synopsis. So it is Damelost Shade Mentage picked a poor knight to flee in a judicial duel. He has precious little hope of escaping the wrath of the Vixen, the most feared duelist in the entire city, until he stumbles through the stage doors of the magnificent apparato Bellezza and tracks his way into the company of actors. An archaic law provides temporary respite from his troubles, until one night a ghost voice in his head causes Damelost to fumble his lines, inadvertently blurting out a dreadful truth. The city's most legendary hero may actually be a traitor and as a brutal murderer. With only the help of his boisterous and lusty friend, Berto, a beautiful assassin whose target may well be Damelost himself, in a company of misfit actors who's just as soon see him dead, the fallen son of two greatcoats must somehow find within himself the courage to dip up long-buried truths before a ruthless band of bravos known as the Iron Orchids come for his head. Oh, and there's still that matter of the Vixen wanting to duel him. I'm very intrigued by this, as the Greatcoats was my favorite series, so I have, of course, pre-ordered this one. The other book that comes out on April 2nd is Otherworldly by F.T. Lukens. F.T. Lukens is a new author that I really like that I've discovered recently, and she's producing a new book this year, and I figured I would also give it a go, so I have pre-ordered this one, and it does sound like it'll be up my alley. And so far, she's only written a couple of series. This is a standalone as of this moment in time, so I'm reading you a synopsis. 17-year-old Ellery is a non-believer in a religion where people swear the supernatural is real. Sure, they've been stuck in a 5-year winter. There's got to be a scientific explanation. If goddesses were real, they wouldn't abandon their charges like this, leaving farmers like Ellery's family to scrape by. Nox is a familiar from the other world, a magical assistant set to help humans who have made crossroad bargains. But it's been years since he's heard from his queen, and Nox is getting nervous about what he might find once he returns home. When the crossroads demons come to collect Nox, he panics and runs. A chance encounter down an alley finds Emery coming to Nox's rescue, successfully fending off his would-be abductors. Ellery can't quite believe what they've seen, and they definitely don't believe the nonsense this unnervingly attractive guy spews about his paranormal origins. But Nox needs to make a deal with a human who can tether him to this realm, and Ellery needs to figure out how to stop this winter to help their family. Once their bargain is struck, there's no backing out, and the growing connection between the two might just change everything. The book that is coming out on April 25th is How to Become the Dark Lord and or Die Trying by Django Wexler. I've never actually read anything by Django Wexler before, but I've heard from people that Django Wexler has a very humorous writing style, so I'm very intrigued by this book since I like humorous writing style, and so I'm intrigued to read this book, and I have pre-ordered this book. This may be a mistake, but we will find out, and if I end up giving this book 5 stars, I guess it won't. Right now it's a 5-star prediction, but who knows? Who knows? I've yet to find out. It comes out on April 25th. Davi has done this all before. She's tried to be the hero and take down the all-powerful Dark Lord. 100 times she's rallied humanity and made their final charge. The time loop always gets her in the end. Sometimes she's killed quickly, sometimes it takes a while, but she's been defeated every time. This time, she's done being the hero and done being stuck in this endless time loop. If the Dark Lord always wins, then maybe that's who she needs to be. It's Davi's turn to play on the winning side. It sounds very fun and something I'm looking forward to trying. The book that comes out on May 7th is Lore Olympus, Volume 6 by Rachel Smythe. This is the 6th volume in the Lore Olympus graphic novel series. This is a 5-star prediction. I have loved every other installment in this graphic novel series, which is a retelling of Hades and Persephone. I'm very much looking forward to this volume. And then on August 1st, we have Brother Song by T.J. Klune. This is the 4th book in the Green Creek series. As you may have mentioned, I read book 3 earlier this month, and it's actually one of the books on this list, and this is book 4. I'm very much looking forward to reading this book, and I'm just going to put it at that. And then September 3rd, we have Celestial Monsters by Aiden Thomas. This is book 2 in his Sunbearer Trials duology. The first book being Sunbearer Trials, and I gave that book 5 stars, and I've also read Cemetery Boys by Ian Thomas and given that book 5 stars as well. This book is another 5-star prediction. I'm very much looking forward to reading this book. I may do a reread of the Sunbearer Trials before I read Celestial Monsters, because it's been a hot minute since I read the Sunbearer Trials. In fact, it's been over a year and a half. I think it's been almost 2 years since I've read the Sunbearer Trials, so a reread is in store for that book. And then on September 10th, we have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Madala. This is the author of The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, which was her debut, and I ended up giving that book 4.5 stars. So I'm very interested in picking up books that she's written, and it looks like this is going to be another one of those romances, and probably like her other one. I'm intrigued to see what this type of romance is going to be, but of course I'm very much looking forward to reading it. I think it's going to be a nice and cozy witchy time. Looking forward to it. Oh, and I will give you guys a synopsis. Alright, so this is a synopsis of this one. Sierra Swan was one of the most powerful witches in Britain. Then she resurrected her great-aunt Jessamine from the very recently dead, lost most of her magic, befriended a semi-villainous talking fox, and was exiled from a magical guild. Now she, slightly reluctantly and grumpily, helps Aunt Jasmine run an inn in Lancashire, where she deals with her quirky guest shenanigans, tries to keep the talking fox in check, and longs for the magical future she lost. When she learns about an old spell book that could help the secret to restoring her power, she finds herself turning to Luke Larson, a gorgeous and icy historian who might be the only person who can help her unlock the book's mysteries. The fact that he also happens to be her one-night stand from years ago is totally irrelevant. Running an inn, reclaiming lost magic, and trying not to fall in love is a lot for anyone, but Sarah's about to discover that she doesn't have to do it alone, and that the weird, wonderful family she's made might be the best magic of all. Sounds like it's going to be a lot like the other one, and I'm very much looking forward to reading it. And then on September 10th, we have my most anticipated release of the year, which is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune. This is The House in the Cerulean Sea told from the point of view of Arthur Parnassus. The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune is by far my favorite book. Number 1 that he's ever written, and is maybe my number 1 book of all time. This is my most anticipated release of the year. I am very much looking forward to this book. I may be doing a dedicated vlog for it. I have not decided that yet. But I'm very much looking forward to that book. The book that comes out on September 24th is Wrath of the Triple Goddess by Rick Riordan. This is, I don't know what number in Percy Jackson this is. So the first original Percy Jackson on the Olympian series is 5 books. Last year he released what people would call book 6, which is Percy Jackson, the Olympians, Chalice of the Gods, which I read and gave 5 stars. And absolutely adored it because, number 1, it's in Percy Jackson. It's in the, original, middle grade style, yet Percy Jackson is, at this point, you'd consider him a YA. It wasn't told in YA style. It was told in middle grade with his funny chapter titles. I'm just being with the original trio of Percy, Grover, and Annabeth. I absolutely had a nostalgic time. And so technically you would call this book 7. And then on October 4th, we have Lore Olympus Volume 7 by Rachel Smythe. I've already talked about Volume 6. There will be 2 Lore Olympus volumes coming out this year. Looking forward to reading it. And actually, as of this current moment in time, those are all of my anticipated releases for 2024. Some of these books you will definitely see this year. Some of these books you might not. I think there were a couple of books last year that came out, and I think they may actually still be on my shelf. It may take me a while to get to some of these books. It might not, but when I get to these books, I will get to these books, and I am very much looking forward to doing so. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did like this video, give this video a like, subscribe for more bookish content from me. From this list of video books that I gave you, pick your favorite. And let me know if there are some other anticipated releases that you have your eye on for this year. Remember, we are the one within the all, and I will see you guys with whatever comes next.